Hey, what's going on, parents? Happy Teenager Tuesday. We are back.
We're back.
At the time of recording this, I'm here. If we haven't met, my name is Will Perry. I'm the lead student pastor here at Hope. And the amazing voice that you're hearing with me is the one and only
Will Perry. I am the Elijah Keck. I'm the student pastor at the McKinney campus.
Yes.
What's up?
You're on the podcast mostly doing cultural updates.
Yes, that's my thing.
Yeah.
I know the culture.
You honestly, you are very good.
I'm the temperature. I'm the whatever that's called. Thermometer.
There
for
it is.
culture.
Yeah. Well, and one thing that I think you do so naturally that I think is going to be helpful for parents is you are really good at conversations. You're really good at getting like more out of students in spiritual moments. You're really good at kind of talking with middle schoolers past the initial like one-word responses.
Yeah.
Which is what today is all about. We're going to try to get through some tips. Pretty simple. Maybe some of this is just a good reminder for you, or maybe it kind of helps you with a strategy for you as a parent that can help you get past just hearing the word good. How was your day? It was good. How was yours?
Good.
Good. Yeah. When I gave my heart to God, I've said this a ton of times. When I gave my heart to God, I told my mom that summer camp was good. And that was it. And she learned later from my youth pastor that my entire life changed. I gave my heart to God. And she was like, why didn't you tell me? I was like, I told you it was good.
Yeah.
You know?
That's what makes religion so different than the math or sciences. You can know the answer but not have a relationship. And as a pastor's kid growing up, I knew all the answers. I knew Jesus was the answer. I knew all the things, but I didn't have a relationship with Jesus.
Yeah.
And so getting down to the deeper root of things is super important. So we got 6 different how to get past good tips for you guys.
Yes.
So the first one is this: easy peasy, ask the question after the question.
Yeah.
That's like Inception for questions.
Yeah.
Ask the question after the question. In other words, when you ask and they say good, continue on with that and say, okay, well, what was good?
Yeah.
Explain that, like, okay, small groups were good. Okay, well, what made it good to you?
Yeah.
And for me as a pastor, I keep going until I get an answer.
Yeah. Talk about the altar when a girl's crying.
Yeah, there's been a couple times where a girl will be crying and she's like, it was just so good. And I'm like, well, what made it good? Well, God moved. Well, how did he move? He just made me so emotional. Well, why are you emotional? You know, like getting to the bottom of things, it is not only good for you to hear what they're actually going through and hear what God's actually doing, but it's also good for them to actually process, well, why am I crying?
Yeah.
What is God doing in my life? Not just, God did some cool things
Right.
tonight.
Yeah.
You know?
You're getting past the formality of a hello and to the actual substance of the feeling.
Yeah. So I think asking for a few things that stood out, like, okay, in your small groups, that's awesome. What are some things that were said that you really took away? Asking for takeaways more than just the overall experience, I think will help with for them defining the experience.
Yeah, that's good. And we train our small group leaders on that too.
Yeah, for sure.
Of like, hey, ask the question, and then they give you an answer. Now ask the question after they gave you the answer.
Yeah.
You know, I do that with my 7th grade boys all the time. It's like, we should pray. Like, well, tell me why we should pray.
Yeah.
Put it in your words. Number 2 on the tip. Number 1 was ask the question after the question. This kind of bleeds into number 2, which is ask more open-ended questions, which sounds like a no duh.
Yeah.
You know? But that, honestly, it takes more patience to ask open-ended questions, and you kind of have to work on that skill of how do you form that open-ended question too.
Yeah.
Like if you say, what was your one favorite part about camp? That could be hard to answer. Just like the question of what's your favorite movie, that's hard to answer. But if you said, hey, tell me some of your favorite movies, that's easy to answer. Because then there's not a wrong answer, because if it's only one right answer, it's hard to fill in. So you might ask open-ended questions, but maybe you're asking them in a way that's harder to answer too.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure.
So just work on that open-ended questions.
Yeah, I love that. Next one is this: don't fill in their words for them.
Yes.
I think we talk about this a lot on this podcast, but listening is such a key to being a parent and to being a pastor and to being good communicators, is listening to what students have to say. And so not filling in the question or their answers for them. So when you're asking the question, you're just trying to get something out of them. Don't be like, man, well, didn't God move in this way? Or like when you worshiped, and don't try to fill in their answers. Let them work through some of that.
Yeah.
A part of them processing as students is, and I think part of this is, I think their generation really struggles with this processing side of emotion and communication, is how do I get from what I felt to describing it?
Yes.
And
So good.
when we were kids, we didn't have technology to like figure that out for us a little bit. I'm sure they're just like, let me just plug this into Chat GPT and ask it how I can communicate this well.
Yeah.
But
we don't want AI emotions
Right.
with our students.
right.
Yes.
And or even the correct answers. Be
Yeah.
okay with your students being like, I don't even know how God moved.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
don't try to fill in the blank for them for yourself.
And even with that, if they say like, I don't know, tell them they can guess.
Yeah.
Because then it takes the pressure off if they say something incorrectly too.
That's so
which
good.
then stops you from filling in the words for them.
Yeah.
You're not telling them what they should say. You're helping to better set up, like you're talking about, process through those feelings too.
Yeah.
Number 4, be cautious to ask questions that you don't want to talk about. I think, we do this out of niceness sometimes of like, hey, how was your day? It was good. How was yours? It's good. Cool. And then we move on to the thing.
Yeah.
Which is okay sometimes. I would just say be cautious that if your student wants to talk and you ask a question, then really engage with the answer to that. And I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying be cautious about questions that you're just looking for kind of a quick hello and you're not actually looking for a conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, the next part is 5 is listen and repeat.
Yeah.
Listen and repeat.
Listen and repeat is what you said.
Repeat. Yes. Listen, then repeat. Yeah, I love this. I think, like we talked about, listening is such a key to communication. And so often as pastors and parents and whoever's in their life, we don't do as good of a job at listening as we think we do. And so when they get in the car and they're talking, so often we'll ask the question without actually listening to them, and then they'll talk about it and you're like, what are you talking about? So I think a big thing is repeating back to them. If someone is having a conversation with you and they repeat something that you said, it indicates, oh, they have listened to what I just said.
Yeah.
So this is a key thing for communication. And I know a lot of sales techniques do this too, but repeating what someone is saying, repeating what your students say. Okay, I had a moment with God. He talked to me about whatever, about loving people in my school. Man, God talked to you about loving people in your school. That's awesome.
Yes. Yeah.
Just communicating that back so they can hear you're validating what they're saying and their opinion and kind of what God did.
Yeah. And that helps you answer the question after the question too.
For sure.
Because then if it's like, help people at my school, you can say, man, helping people at your school, that's so cool. What do you think that looks like?
Yeah.
What could that look like?
For sure.
Yeah.
100%. But yeah, don't feel like you have to, talk and try to fill in the space.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay to let it be a little uncomfortable and let them process that. And then just repeat what they're saying.
Yeah.
Listen, and repeat what they're saying.
Yeah, that's good. Number 6, be cautious to minimalize a situation. This is probably more of like if they go through a breakup or, they don't get first chair in the band or something happens in their world that for them, it feels like their world is falling apart. But in the grand scheme of the world, it's really not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you broke up. That's fine. I was hoping for that. You know what I mean? I think as parents, it's good to just be cautious to not be like, you'll get over it. And then to move on. Because for them, whether it's a realistic thing or not, it feels like the end of the world. And if we minimize the feeling, we don't have to validate, you should feel that way. No, not saying that. Saying if we just completely dismiss it quickly and kind of use unintentionally, maybe do a quick put down, then over time that'll chip away at students even wanting to talk to us.
Yeah.
So,
because it shows them that, whenever I do talk, they're just going to try to solve it right away and not even listen. Like, more than anything, your students know that you have the answers to their problems. They just want you to hear them.
Yeah.
And they don't always want the answers. It's just like me and you. We don't always want the answers to our problems.
Yeah.
As bad as that is.
Yeah.
Sometimes we just want to rant a little bit, let it out, and don't want someone going, well, that's easy. Just follow God. Just do this. And you're like, okay, I know.
Yeah.
I'm just upset.
Exactly. Just be upset.
Just be upset.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Okay, so I'll just say these 6 real quickly and then we'll sign off. Elijah will sign off for us. So again, number 1, ask the question after the question. Number 2, ask more open-ended questions. Number 3, don't fill in their words for them. Number 4, be cautious to ask questions you don't want to talk about. Number 5, listen and repeat. Listen and repeat. Number 6, be cautious to not minimize the situation.
That is so good. I hope you guys use those tips. Remember, you can do this. You are not alone. God is with you, and so are we. We'll catch you next time.
See you, parents.